All right, Big Man, well and day Portnoy show with Eddie and Company, presented by High Noon. Rock of the Nooner's hat as always, Dave.
Yeah, I got a ton of. I actually like this. If you notice, and people probably don't, I wear this hat differently than I wear my other hats. I go like with the tilted up kind of my hair. My hair is ridiculous right now. It's so long. I need to get a haircut guy in Miami. But yeah, this hat is kind of my favorite with the long hair because I have this like stuff in the front. But yeah, High Noon. Everybody knows they're the best hard seltzer on the market. I've been still crushing the passion fruits. We drank about 1 billion of them opening weekend. Going to New Orleans, I'm sure I'm going to drink a gazillion of them there too. So head to your local liquor store, get some today. Remember, it's liquor stores. If you're in states that have different beer and liquor laws, like in New York or a Pennsylvania, you got to go where they sell vodka because it's a vodka soda. It is not a beer soda, which the other guys are.
Yep, exactly. So make sure you type that into your GPS. Don't go to the wrong store. Real vodka, real juice for real fans just like us. Head over to your local liquor store and get some today. High Noon. Yeah, you were getting kind of you didn't like how your hair looked on Fox the other day, huh?
Well, that was yesterday, not the other day, Eddie. When it's yesterday, you say yesterday.
Well, you say that in case it was a different day. I didn't know what it was from.
It was yesterday. So, yeah, I knew I was in trouble because I got asked to go on to talk about the Will Smith slap pretty late, and I was already on the road doing like 4 or 5 pizza reviews wearing a hat. So I came home. I made my hair as best as I could. I got home and probably had like half an hour. I didn't think I had time to shower and do my hair. And they actually brought a hair and makeup person. Sometimes they do that. Like they roll up in a truck, like a mobile truck, and park it right in front of my house. And they had a hair and makeup person, and she started fucking with my hair. And it just got away from everybody because my hair is so long and it's actually super curly. And so it didn't look great. It's super long. I've this is as long as it's been because I haven't had a haircut since I've been in Miami. I had the sides trimmed once, but I mean, this is a mop. And that's all real, by the way. I don't want to hear hair plugs on it. This is all real deal shit.
You need to get Jeff Wittick full time.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking around. People have started to send me like recommendations, but they all seem like really like high-end haircut people, like rock stars. I just need a basic haircut person. I'm not trying to create a crazy hair, you know.
Did you say goodbye to Bob before you left New York?
No. I'll see Bob again. I mean, next time I'm in New York, I'll for sure make an appointment to get a haircut immediately.
You'll go back to Bob?
Yeah, 100%.
That's good. I did. So you went. I feel like you always have bad luck with the makeup people, though. They're the ones who stuff the cords in your shirt, right?
The what?
And everyone's making fun of you. Remember when you had the fucking headphone cords and you stuffed them into your shirt and everyone was laughing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't remember that? It was
No.
it was for a hit, and you tucked in rather than like have cords everywhere. But whatever. Yeah, I mean,
what you're talking about.
I'll show you the picture.
I'm stuck in cords.
Pull up that picture and add it in, TiVo. In post, please. What's going on?
Nothing. I had like the cords wrapped around my legs like I was getting pulled to the bottom of the ocean.
So you still think that thing was 30% fake, huh? There's a 30% chance it was fake?
I've changed probably like 5%.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
The slap just doesn't add up to me, his reaction. But again, as many people have pointed out, what is the gain for either of them? Unless you're a believer that there's no such thing as bad publicity. I mean, Chris Rock is going on tour, seems to be, and his tickets have quadrupled at the least on how much, but he doesn't benefit from that.
I can't believe that you didn't know that Jada cheated on him or they were in an open relationship.
Maybe, yeah. I wasn't like overly aware of that. I'm not totally up to speed on my Will Smith news.
But that was just...
I didn't watch the Red Table stuff or whatever it was called. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, old Davey Internet would have been all over that.
100%.
Yeah. That was big news when it was going on. How was Ultra? Were people giving you a lot of shit?
Giving me shit like stoolies?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've never been. It's obviously in Miami, a huge fucking concert. And we had a great setup. So I enjoyed it. Like, I've probably written before, I'd rather die than be at Ultra, and I would rather die than be in the main crowd at Ultra. But, we've been fortunate enough to make connections. So, Tau Group, shout out Noah Tepperberg, took care of me, and we had plenty of room. You could sit, there was food. We were able to go on stage, for a bit, which is cool to see that at any concert. So I had fun. I don't know how anyone wouldn't have fun in the environment that we're in. If you do it right, and we're lucky to do it, it was fun.
Yeah, I think you said in one of your videos, was it maybe the pizza review, like, I'm at Ultra, instead of watching hoops, I've changed. I just got sent that a lot, so you were.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure people would say that. I mean, I've always missed a couple games during the tournament. I've watched 95% of it.
What'd you think? Well, also, Bob Huggins is coming on a little bit, so we'll talk some hoops with him. What happened with the koi pond? You fell into a koi pond?
So yeah, this was, what did I do? It was Friday night. Oh, it's after Ultra. So after Ultra, there was an after party type thing at a house, and I was walking in, and they have the front entrance of the house, and then I was just looking straight, and it was dark, and I was kind of on the corner, and I was getting herded. I had to take an angle in, and there's just a pond on either side of the entrance. So I'm just walking, and if this is cement, the cement just disappeared into the pond. So I didn't go head under, but full legs. So I was just soaking wet, shoe, sock. I dragged Silvana down. She didn't go into the pond, but on the cement. It was quite embarrassing. Not a ton of people saw it, but it was still very embarrassing. And I had no idea what happened. I'm walking, and then next thing I knew, I was soaking wet. I was like, what just happened? Because I had no idea. I had no idea there was a pond there.
What did the people that saw say? Were they like, oh, are you okay?
They were scrambling to make sure I was okay. I think the house manager or somebody was afraid it's going to sue. They're like, are you all right? Are you all right? I was like, fine. I landed in water.
Were you wearing those colorful Nikes? What were you? Or
no,
shoes
just
damaged?
Black jeans, black shoes. So that was good.
So they're not. Did you throw them out, or they?
No. It's just water.
Fine? Oh, okay. That's great. It's a shame there's no video footage of that.
I know.
Because that would have been very funny.
Very fun. I know. I wish I had it too.
Did you know any of the people playing at Ultra? Or you just go to go? What was your?
I mean, I've heard of all of them. Kygo was the closer, and I golfed with him the day before. So, yeah, of course I knew him. 50 Cent came on stage with him. Joe Jonas came on stage. So, yeah. I mean, it was really cool.
How did that come about? The golfing with Ricky Fowler.
I got invited to. It was in Miami. It's 15 minutes from my house, and I know there's this group called Palm Tree Group, which is a guy here, Manager Miles, who is Kygo's manager. I'm throwing out names, but he has kind of a group, and they invest and they do stuff. He's Kygo's manager. I've known him forever. He's like, hey, you want to play in this foursome tomorrow or 2 days? Or I forget, he asked me a couple days in advance, and he mentioned Ricky Fowler. It's yep, I'll be there.
How was it? How'd you shoot?
It was a scramble. So, I mean,
okay.
Best ball. Mm-hmm. Ricky Fowler's in the group, so not too much pressure to hit a good ball.
So you'll be fine, probably. Gaz, how was it? You got your mic on? How was Ultra? How was the weekend? Where did you have fun?
Oh, it was a great setup. Like you said, you have your private bathroom. You have a bathroom you can go to easily, which those kind of situations is amazing. You have your cocktail servers making your drinks. It's not like going to a festival. It's like
there was sushi and shit being served.
Yeah, there was Komodo brought out sushi. So it was not like going to a festival. It was like going to an awesome nightclub with a million acts. Mm-hmm. I think Nina Agdal was next to us for a while.
Yeah, she was.
So there's a lot of who's walking around, and then there's fucking me somehow.
Nice.
I mean, again, there's no way not to. You have to be a miserable fuck not to have a good time in that environment. You walk right in, you have a place to sit. It was fun.
So are you boys with Ricky Fowler now, would you say? Or are you guys just kind of
I mean, that's pretty extreme to say I'm boys with Ricky Fowler. He did invite me. I guess Michael Jordan opened a golf club in Jupiter or something. And he's like, we'll have to get you down there to play. But I would not describe me and him as boys. If I saw him, we'd definitely be like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
I feel like
Like,
it's not absurd, though.
What?
You should tell them who the best guest was there, at least in my opinion. You told me about it.
Allison Stoke. I've mentioned that. The Stoke show. Yeah, I mentioned that in the rundown because she's Internet 1.0, obviously. And I tried to explain to him right when I met him, like, this is kind of weird, but like, I kind of nicknamed your girlfriend 20 years ago. And you can just say that, but like, I was a major factor in her life. Like, I brought Allison Stoke to the internet. He had no idea what I was talking about. And quickly into the story, I knew I had to drop it. And then I met her at the end, and I didn't even try to bring it up. I assume she knows what Barstool Sports is and knows I used to post her a lot. I assume, because I remember there being like an article in the Washington Post that she hated it. So that's why, granted, it was like 20 years ago, but still.
Yeah, she was one of the. What was the other one? The Miss
She's
Can
Internet
or whatever?
1.0. I'll tell you this, Ricky Fowler, and this was confusing to me. First hole, hit a 3-wood, like kind of borderline rough, 300 yards, 3 feet from the pin. And I was like, okay, is this just, like, is this an amazing shot for you, Ricky? Or are you just going to be doing this every hole? And he's like, no, if I did this would be like my best shot, like in a long, it was amazing. Like, it was by far his best shot of the whole day. But to see that as basically his first shot was like, whoa, like literally 300 yards this far from the pin with like a fairway wood. It was sick.
It was jarring. That's like Allison Stoke, like that's one of the burned images of like old school Barstool, right?
Yeah, the white, the black, and holding the pole looking. I mean, she's a beautiful, stunning woman. So, yeah, good for him. But, yeah, I didn't want to go too far in. I didn't know the guy. It was like, is he going to think this is funny? But he was actually a really laid back, like, cool dude. Like, shout out, they all are invested in this drink called Long Drink, which is like a gin thing. And to start it was Kygo. His friends call him Kira, so I will do that now. Ricky and Fritz, this guy who just won I keep forgetting, Fritz. Good-looking dude who won a tennis tournament, like Taylor Fitz. Yeah, Fritz. He won like the Indian Wells tennis tournament like the week before. But they all did this shotgun, and there's a weird video with me just standing there. I'm like, I can't do it. Why? Nooners are nothing. I'm a ride or die for the brand. And Ricky was actually very good. He's like, no, because everyone's like, do it. He's like, no, I get it. It's like, I've done endorsements. You can't. He's like, he'll get in trouble. So that was nice.
Looking out for the Nooners. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, let's talk about Roman, then we're going to bring in a surprise guest.
I'm going to guess it's my dad, by the way. Hard Dick Business, Roman. Go to GetRoman.com/Dave to get first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. Newsflash, you suck in bed. That's probably true. I don't know that I trust any dude is good in bed, so you probably do suck. That's why I use Roman, the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes, clinically proven to last longer. They're effective, easy to use, fast acting, don't require a prescription. They ship in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. Super easy to use. Just swipe them on your dick, let it drive, you're good to go. Go to GetRoman.com/Dave to get first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/Dave. Wow.
Joining the show, 1 month trial, Ethan. So Ethan gets requested like a handful of times. People have been wondering what's
Ethan
going
with
on.
A new haircut too. He's like a wild and crazy guy haircut.
I appreciate that.
Did you see the clip from you guys with that interview? We posted on our YouTube.
They put that on my TikTok every now and again, and pretty much goes viral every time. And people are like, is he still there? It's like, you know what? He could have been working in a closet. He could be not there. He just, I don't know. I can't believe he's here now.
Really? Why can't you believe it?
I guess I can believe it's not the most stunning. I could have had a million guesses and it wouldn't have been you.
Real? I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, you're not like top of mind for me. So.
No, I was just about to say I'm not on the top of your radar. So.
What are you up to? Do you still work for us?
Well, like, no. I mean, I guess I still work for you in the same capacity I did, where I'm just, like, not getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You weren't, like, doing anything, right?
No, well, I was blogging and stuff, and then COVID happened, and then, I don't know, my email just got shut down one day.
Really?
Nobody ever told me anything. My email, camps at Barstool Sports, just stopped working one day.
I didn't even know we shut down. I didn't even know we shut down emails. I feel like people have been here like decades ago still. So that's what it was. It's like your email stopped working and you just.
Yeah, I think it was.
By the way, who's sending you emails to camps at barstoolsports.com? You were checking that email? How many emails in the history of that email did you get?
It was mostly just the former editor-in-chief yelling at me.
What K. Marco?
Yeah. But
Well,
I
Still
think
on the
that's when
bloggers page.
Yeah, the transition kind of died. I don't know what happened.
Wait, he's still on the. You're still on the blogger page?
Yeah, I mean, my HQ still works. My blogs just stopped getting posted.
And then you're just like slowly like.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm not getting paid anyway. Why do I give a shit?
That was kind of, I feel like, your attitude from the jump.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Just here to have a good time, I guess.
So what do you do now?
I sit in my bed.
That
Gamble.
seems about right. You're a gambler?
Yeah. I play poker all day.
Interesting.
my
So you're like a
basement.
professional poker player?
That's a stretch. I run a card room in my basement. We play about 3 to 4 times a week.
Like physical,
Micros.
like in person.
Physical in my basement, yeah. I
Like
have to make sure I'm not-
like you got some big whales in there or just like schmoes?
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. Perspective. is
What's
key
what's
to
a what's a blind, like what are your blinds typically?
We're playing 5-10 cents, but it's like we're playing enough where it's like people are. I mean, I made a lot of money playing just because I'm a lot better than everybody. But
Are you whispering or is this sound just
no,
off?
I'm just I'm just a quiet person.
Because I don't know that I could barely hear you, so I hope people
Okay.
can hear. So who contacted you to come on?
Kareem.
Got it. So yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with Ethan. I've always thought he's a weird, interesting guy. Like from the second we met, his work ethic was disgusting, I thought. Like, so what he's saying is right. He wasn't getting paid. I don't even know if we're allowed to do that anymore. But like with anybody who comes into the opportunity, you got to earn it. He wasn't even close to earning it in my mind, but
There was a time on the rundown where I filled in for Tommy, and you were like, "Oh, we're close to paying him again." And then
Really?
COVID. Yeah, and then COVID happened. Yeah.
got it.
And
Yeah,
then that
it's
just kind of fucked everything up. So.
I would say this. If you were the opposite in my mind, highly motivated. So I'm actually surprised you have like a card game going on in your basement.
Oh,
That
yeah,
seems
it's-
motivated.
It's more so just invite my friends over and take their money type of thing. but,
Okay. Fair.
you know.
Who did you report to, Ethan? Was Dave your direct boss or was K. Marco?
Yeah,
Who-
I mean, I didn't really have anybody to report to. I was a lawless man. I was, I
was.
guess, under Dave's provision, but you know.
I was an
He's
Ethan
doing-
fan. I rooted for him.
Yeah. Thank you. But I guess that stopped at some point.
No,
The
I
rooting.
still root for you. But I mean,
I appreciate that.
he's a lawless man. There's something there, and maybe one day for somebody else. Like I think at one point I'm like, you're welcome to come in as long as you want, as long as we're not paying
Well,
you.
that's the thing. That's the thing is like I was coming in unpaid, but that was just. I mean, that ended up. I had like so around the time I stopped getting paid, I had about like $2,000 in my bank account.
Oh, you were getting paid at one point.
I was originally getting paid.
That's right. And then it was
And then you
like
took it away.
correct.
Well, because you were trying to fire me, and I was like, I'll just work for free.
Correct. I wasn't necessarily firing. It's like this isn't going to work out. You like on a trial period. I don't think you've done much.
Well,
We
that
can't-
in of itself was a little like I don't know, like frustrating to me because it felt like I don't know, there was never like continuity. It was always just like, oh, at the end of the month I might just not have a job or whatever. You
Correct.
know what I mean? So it's a little hard. It was like a little hard for me, especially as I was a pretty young teenager. So it was like I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, and that is I don't. That's the Barstool world. Like we throw you in, and it's like you sink or swim, but it's not too much hand holding, and that can be hard.
No.
That definitely can be hard.
And I didn't expect that. And it impacted me, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Do you hold any ill will here, Ethan? Are you upset at anybody? Is there anyone?
During COVID, actually, there was a time where it was like I like didn't blog or whatever, and like for like a day or two or something, like just like kind of normal stuff, and it's just like former editor-in-chief just up my ass, and then he had me do some like fake assignment that he said he was gonna then like recommend me to you and Erica or something, and that he was gonna CC me on it. Never happened.
What's a fake assignment?
He just when you're doing your unboxings, he had me make like top 10s of your unboxings and said you wanted that or something. So I was just doing that.
There's a chance
I think it was like
that.
It was like he said something like, "Oh yeah, I'll get this to him," but he has a virtual like concert or something. I was like, okay.
I did have a virtual concert at one point.
With Tiesto?
Yeah, Tiesto and Jimmy Buffett. It never happened, but that's not made up. That was really supposed to happen.
Because, sitting at home, I'm, just Google chatting this guy, and he's like, yeah, I'll get it to him as soon as the virtual Tiesto concert's over. It's like,
that was a real thing that was supposed to happen.
And then it just never happened.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
never
sitting there
happened.
with my thumb up my ass.
That's
like,
how I
what am
met
doing
Jimmy
here?
Buffett. So he was telling the truth about that. You must like. I've always been a 1 month trial Ethan guy. Do you like me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
People forget I applied to be Frankie. Like, I'm a huge Dave Portnoy guy.
Yeah, and I like Ethan. I think there's something there, but I'm way past. Like, one thing that's happened as we've gotten bigger, like I'm not around. Like if Ethan may have prospered in a smaller Milt environment because I'm there and I'm up people's ass a little bit more. So it's like do this, do that.
Yeah, it's closer attention.
Yeah,
it's like you're under a microscope.
Yeah, like I fired Frankie and he kept going, but in the new world, especially the new world where I'm not even there, you can sink pretty quick, and obviously COVID's a different. But the door is open. Like if Ethan just walked in one day, I'd give him Rico's seat. Like honestly, I would be like, Rico, time to find a new seat. Nah, I don't know they do anything.
I never had a desk.
Yeah, you did. You were right around the corner from me.
Well, because I had to bring my own in.
You brought your own desk?
Yeah. Dana White was like sucking my cock about it. He was loving it.
Wait, you literally brought in your own desk?
Yeah.
I didn't know
That's a blog. That's a blog on BarstoolSports.com.
That is actually the most... Okay, so what I'm saying is zero motivation. That is motivate. That is pretty good, bringing in your own desk. I didn't know that. Good for you.
Well, I did tell you, and you just kind of like...
Well, yeah, there's a lot of information up
no,
there.
yeah. It was like something you were on your way to advisors or something. It just rolled right off your back. It's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Did you take your desk back or no? Is it still there?
Well, that's a COVID thing. My uncle's actually been asking about that desk because it was his.
Take it back. You're in the office today.
Well, I don't...
Is someone sitting at it?
It's a lot of work. It's not that big of a deal to me. Smitty tried breaking it once, but that's a different story. But I don't know.
I'm like I said, the doors. I like him. I never totally knew where we were at with him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I tried emailing you once, like after my email got shut down. I think it just got lost because it's like not.
I honestly didn't know what's the point of shutting down your email. That's crazy.
That was the thing. It was like I must have just been like I wasn't on payroll or something, so they were just shutting down like
your email shut down.
I was using.
You're on our blogger page.
Yeah. And I could still access HQ and like blog.
That is a window into the madness of Barstool Sports. Like, let's get his Ethan Camps at Barstool email shut down, but he can access to bring down the whole company.
It was, yeah. Well, that's what I took that as like the first sign of like, am I getting squeezed out here?
I mean, you really have to be squeezed out to shut down your email when you're not collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, and I thought it was like, we're not even going to tell you type situation. Like, we're just going to squeeze you out and just hope you never show up again.
And I do say this, Eddie, in all seriousness. He has something. He's one of those weird brain guys. I don't know what it is. Would you move to Miami?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Wow.
I'd get on a flight in an hour.
All right. I'm heading back, so I'm eventually soon. Now, I only have about a month left in Miami before I go back east, but I am going to put together a new crew of weird brains that are my crew, and they're going to have to follow me around when I'm in the Hamptons. They live there, and when they're here, I'm going to put them up. I'll buy a place, not buy a place, but I'll rent a nice place people can live, and they'll be my content crew. That is coming.
Yeah, I'm around. I'm around for sure.
I mean, you'd fit in. You'd infuriate me, no doubt, but it would be very funny
I
content.
actually think we'd be pretty good friends, but that's a different story.
We'd be frenemies. Like, I can get upset when things don't go right, and your lackadaisical nature would infuriate me, but it would be funny content.
It would be the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows.
Yeah, like A Tale of Two Cities. Maybe we're onto something. You may have the lead foot. It would be a paid gig. Like Ethan Camps may be moving into that Dave Portnoy misfit crew that I'm going to put together.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess just let me know. I guess I can be on standby for the circus. But, yeah.
Yeah, talented. Listen, all the people in this crew will become very well known and have futures in content. I guarantee you that. When you get in my circle, it paves the way for stuff because inherently you become part of content.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the appeal of becoming Frankie.
Right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I did not expect to see what a turn of events this convo, from a total stunner to I didn't know if he was still working in a remote crevice of our office to we shut down his email to maybe he'll be part of my crew.
Well, like I said, I just sit in my bed all day and gamble, so it's
All right.
let me know.
Unbelievable.
I will.
He's going to
I'll
get his
keep you in
desk
the
back
loop.
and a spot in Miami.
All right.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Good to see you, Ethan.
All right. Good to see you, too.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
I'm
What a
dead
turn
ass
of
serious. I'm dead ass serious because I've mentioned it. I'm putting together my own content crew who, and I got inspired. I knew I had to do it, but I got inspired by a Buddha Ben job posting that I saw that, yeah, it was the best job posting I've ever seen. It said something to the effect, you have to live in my apartment. You have to do what I say 24/7. Be ready to serve me 24/7. Be ready to drop your life at a moment's notice to follow me 24/7. I'm like, this is what I need. I need a crew like that. I'm probably going to put together 3 to 5 people, and it's going to be my crew. And because I'm not going to be in the city, but I need people around to make content with me. So, and he'd be great and infuriating all at once. I have that vibe on him. He's just he's quick on his feet. He's witty.
And
I
that's the
can't
best spot for
tell at
success,
all
like you said.
What?
That's like the best way for him to be successful. Like you couldn't do it when it was, you had too much going on, advisors, bing, bing, bing. But when you got a couple guys,
He needs somebody to play off of, because he's very good that way. He's naturally funny. And it's really, I can't get a read on the dude.
Yeah, that was what a turn of events for Ethan.
Yeah.
Gonna get his desk back in a Miami spot possibly.
I mean, when he said he brought in his own desk, which apparently I knew, I was like, oh, that's a little fire in the belly. I mean, we got Rico, who has literally cried nonstop for like a month that doesn't have a desk, and then you got a teenager who brings in his own desk. Some guys want it handed to him. Some guys take what they want. Now, that's all he did. He stopped. He brought the desk in. That was good. But still, he brought the desk.
Well, I think it was a big point of contention was his over winter break. Remember that? He texted Big Cat. He's like, "Oh, have a good break." He's like, "Yeah, man, like you too." And he's like,
are
"Oh
we gonna
no,
blog? Are we gonna blog over winter break?" Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and he's like,
that's
"Oh,
the
no."
type of shit that will not happen. I mean, again, Frankie Borelli, day 2, left the office before I did. He came. He's like, "All right, I'm done with work. I'll see you later. I'm typing. I'm blogging." I'm like, this fucking guy just left before I did on day 2, and I ripped his asshole apart. You need that.
Yeah.
Like everybody who's been my guy, for the most part, has gone through the fire and has been very productive. Gaz, Hank, Frankie, these are some of the most productive people we've had at the company because they've worked lockstep with me.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
All right, I think
Milton
Bob
Tough.
Huggins is here. Milton Tough. I think Bob Huggins is here, so let's bring in Coach.
It's like my dad right now.
Want to talk Birddogs in the meantime?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do
Birddogs.
Birddogs.
I'm wearing them. The green is actually a beautiful color with the khaki. I wear them all the time. Go to birddogs.com, enter promo code Dave. They'll throw in free Birddogs whistle tip football. That's birddogs.com, promo code Dave. Boom, free Birddogs whistle tip football with your pair of Birddogs. Gear up for the summer with Birddogs. You will not take these things off, I promise. Believe me, because I always wear them. They also make your legs look fucking great. I have pictures out in Cleveland where, honestly, I look like my legs look like they're model legs. Like, that's how good the legs look. So Birddogs, they get joggers, everything. What's up, Coach?
I'm just sitting there amazed that your legs look that
They did. Are you going to come out? Are you going to try to shake me down for another $500,000?
I figured you'd just volunteer it.
Yeah. No, I'm walking door to door with a little can being like, I went to the fish fry and they put me on the spot. I need some money here.
Well, they put me on the spot too.
So how do you like
I'm
doing,
just a little bit on you.
how do you like doing the TV? You can't like Rex Chapman. I keep seeing you say you like Rex Chapman.
Rex is all right.
Please.
What's wrong with Rex?
Everything. He's reviled on the internet. And I know he's taking shots at me, which if you take shots at me, I tried to dig him up. I couldn't find him. I know he's taking shots at me out of left for no reason.
Well, I don't know why he would do that.
Because he's a lunatic. How is it? Do you like doing the TV?
It's okay. It's a long day, but it's okay.
Why didn't they put you and Frank on the same set?
That's a good question. Probably you can't tell the truth that many times.
That's a fair thing. You also know, probably don't know. I've never spoken with Frank. We've tweeted a couple times. I'm from Boston, so I'm a Massachusetts guy. I'm glad he got the UMass gig. And I'm going to have to speak to him about this. I have been banned from going back to the UMass campus.
Really?
Yeah,
How can that be?
Yeah, we threw a party back in 2000, and when I left the campus, it was in flames. Like you turned around and you could see flames rising. The party, it was notorious, and we had like 5,000 people in the Mullins Center, and the police told me, you got to tell these kids to go home after the concert. You can't. You gotta get on there and give a real speech. And I was young, and Barstool just started, so I took the microphone, I got on, and I said, "The police say that we gotta go home after the party. We're going out." And it was a large-scale party, riot gear, the works. And they called me the next day, the police, and they said, "If you ever step back on UMass campus, we're just going to arrest you on the spot." That's the last time I've been to Amherst.
Wow. Well, Frank's wife was a star track person there.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she's big time.
Is she from the area?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't get contact with them. It was a long time ago, but I'd love to go back. Someone actually said they used to play at the Cage. I want to resurrect it for a day. They're like, just do one game at the Cage, which is one of the best college basketball environments there is.
I played at the Cage.
It's a good environment, isn't it?
It's pretty tight. Yeah.
That's why it's called the Cage. I love it. It's one of my favorite spots. So what do you think of this Final Four, Blue Blood City?
That's pretty much what it is, isn't it?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you think it's good or bad for college basketball when it's kind of the same group?
I don't know. I don't think it makes much difference. I think what St. Peter's did was phenomenal, and talk about getting everybody engaged and everybody involved and everybody rooting for the underdog. I don't know that we've had anybody better than that. Actually, Jim Larinaga, a long time ago.
Yeah, George Mason, right?
Yeah, had George Mason took him to the Final Four. So yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting when you have people who aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, me too. It's the magic of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Who were you most surprised by, but like good or bad, besides St. Peter's, obviously? Like what, or like Purdue, like early exit kind of for them?
Well, I mean, I think everyone was surprised when St. Peter's beat Kentucky, and then they go on and continue to win, and everybody's like, it's going to come to a halt here, and it almost never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
I'm always, in your opinion, and this is just, you can't really answer it without just a wild guess. Kentucky, St. Peter's, if they play 100 times, how many times do you think St. Peter's beats them?
Probably not very many.
Like under 5 type thing?
You know what? You say that right after the game, but then St. Peter's goes on and beats other people that are very good too, and are big time programs. So, to say that they couldn't beat Kentucky again, they probably could. Kentucky's going to win the most of them for sure. But what they did. I mean, we have it a lot in a tournament where somebody beats somebody they're not supposed to, and it's exciting and all that. Then they go to the next game and they get blistered, and they just kept winning. And I thought that was a terrific thing for the tournament.
One thing we debate consistently here is, in college basketball is so unique in its setup because no one else has a tournament quite like it. The regular season championship, the conference championship, and then the actual tournament. How do you look at those as a coach? Like, for example, if a team wins the regular season, Wisconsin and Illinois, for example, in Big Ten split the conference title, but both pretty early exits. To me, that diminishes their season. They have a great season, but I remember them getting bounced early. Or Kentucky, 2 seed, great season. How do you balance that as a coach?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, how many times does maybe the 8th best team in the league beat the 1st or 2nd place team in the league? It happens. Guys sometimes don't come ready to play. Sometimes they take people for granted. Sometimes the other team just plays better.
But in
how do you
your
define
view,
success? Yeah, how do you define success as a coach?
So you win let's say West Virginia won the Big 12, and you guys get bounced in the first weekend. Is that a successful season in your mind?
No.
So you need now. What if you're like Michigan, where I went, was an 11 seed. They made it to the Sweet 16, and I think changed the perception in their season by making it to the second weekend. Is that a successful season?
I'm not sure what your definition of success is. Does it make the fans happier? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's fan. I mean, I'm a fan. So it's how I'm looking. Like, I'll remember this season for Michigan, not wildly successful, but successful. Now, if they lost the first weekend, I would say no. They were a top 10 preseason team, even though I think that's kind of garbage because they never played to that level. They were just declared that before it started. But they came on at the end, and they made a decent run. And as a fan, I got to enjoy them playing the Sweet 16 and giving Villanova a little bit of a run for the money. So, yeah, for me, that was a successful season. But the regular season was a disappointment.
If you're basing it on what the fans think, yeah, it was a successful season. I think if you're basing it on probably what the coaching staff and the players think and the people on the inside at the university, probably not a good season.
Got it. Final
What
Four
about in your eyes, though? As far as like a coach, so should it be Final Four? Should it be Elite Eights? Should it be wins total? Because some people like say, "Oh, this guy never won. He never won." How should you think should a coach be measured as far as success goes?
Well, I think being able to coach a team that is successful, and I think when you're not a blue blood, when you don't constantly get the best players in the country, you get other people and you help them to become better and help them to become much more competitive. I would always think that if you're at a blue blood school, you should win all the time. You're going to have the best players. Mm-hmm. If you have the best players, you should win. If you don't have the best players and you win anyways, look at Kelvin Sampson. I mean, Kelvin Sampson did an unbelievable job, and that's losing two of his best players. I mean, think if one of the blue bloods lost two of their two best players, like Kelvin did, would they go as far as what Houston did? Probably not.
So then,
I think Kelvin did an unbelievable job.
Which brings up a program that obviously they do have a rich history, Villanova, but a decade ago, 15 years ago, before Jay Wright got there, I don't think people have said Villanova's a blue blood, but they have certainly won like a blue blood over the last 10 to 15 years. So would you say he's probably what would you say, has he transformed them into a blue blood in your mind?
I think Jay has done a phenomenal job of figuring out how he can get the most out of the guys that he has. He's the guy who started dribbling in the lane, jump stopping and pivoting 3 or 4 times until they either find someone else open or they score the ball themselves. And that all came into being with Jay. People didn't do that before. We played him in the, what was it, Sweet 16 or something like that, and lost a close game. But that bothered us. But it was something that people didn't see before. It was unique. And I think Jay deserves a lot of credit for coming up with that formula.
Like, really, the only other program recently that reminds me is that run UConn had with Calhoun. Like, that was a program that didn't have the history and then, was competing every year for the title. The Final Four, getting into it this year. The biggest, I guess, one of the biggest games in the history of college basketball, I think it's fair to say, since it's Coach K's final game. He's playing his arch rival, North Carolina Duke. Who has more pressure? Well, Coach K does. Do you think that loss does anything to him if his last 2 games against North Carolina he loses at home, which I think what you saw his speech probably is like, I'm sorry, and then to lose your arch rival in the Final Four, how much pressure is on him, you think?
Well, I think we all feel pressure. I mean, you feel pressure, you get that far, you feel pressure to win.
You don't think there's added pressure because it's North Carolina?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think think that he looks at things that way.
Are you a fan of his?
We've played against each other several times. I think he's a really, really good coach. I don't know how anybody could say he's not one of the better coaches that's ever coached our game.
Well, the record for sure. I think he's a little fraudulent. Like, I think people, the media, get down on their knees for him and act like he's a god and a saint. And there's a lot of things he's done, like when he yelled at the Oregon kid and said he didn't, and then after the game, the footage comes out and he yells at his student section. So I'm rooting against him, if you can't tell. I am rooting for North Carolina to win this.
Believe it or not, everyone other than you two, I think, probably has made a mistake or two in their life.
I'm perfect, Coach.
I know you. I know. I said what I said. I'd let off with the fact that other than you two, other people have made mistakes.
But Coach,
I mean, I know you guys don't, and that I'm very appreciative of that fact, and I wish that I could be a little bit more like you.
But Coach, come on. You wear your heart on your sleeve. I don't think there's any illusion that like what with me, and I make mistakes, but what you see is what you get. I would say with Coach Huggins, and why I liked you before I ever met you, what you see is what you get. I don't know. I've never met Coach K, obviously. I don't get that vibe, and that's why I'll be rooting against him. That's all I'm saying about that. Now, I know you're friends with Bill Self because we were on the panel with him, and I even saw him saying it was a shame when you got kicked out of the game that you guys lost to them. Do you have a rooting interest in this Final Four?
Well, I think everybody wants someone from their own league, if they're in a Final Four, to win. I think it helps the league. I think it gives the league more prestige. I think everyone gets a little more excited, I think, about playing in the league. And I think if we're going to continue to be, if not the best, certainly one of the best leagues in the country, we need to get people in the Final Four. So
West Virginia is a legal gambling state, so anybody in that state can go onto our app, place a bet. Who do you think the favorite in this Final Four is?
Well, I think the majority of the people are rooting for Mike, because his last game. I think the majority of people root for him, whether they bet on Duke, I wouldn't have any idea. But I think the majority of the people, Mike's a sentimental favorite.
Who would you? Well, I'm asking for a tip for all our people in West Virginia. Who do you think? Not who are you rooting for? You played obviously Kansas a bunch, 3 times, right? Like Villanova. I don't know that you've played. Well, you didn't play the other guys, right?
No.
So who do you think has the best team, best lineup, best roster?
I think Kansas is really good.
Yeah, they're playing great too.
Their two wing guys are terrific. They've got a great center. I think Adden, probably the best point guard maybe in the country. He wasn't with them for the first 2/3 of the season, and now they add him to a cast that was already extremely good, extremely talented, and he's brought another dimension to their team.
And I think I read an article that said you're going to try to get bigger. Am I right about that? You want to bring in some bigs?
We got to get some bigs, yeah. We didn't have any bigs last year.
Which leads to, and I know what I think of, but I know you're not going to answer this question the way I'm hoping you'd answer it. When people think Bob Huggins basketball, spanning from Cincinnati to West Virginia, what do you want them to think about your teams, or what is your what is your calling card in your mind?
Well, hopefully that I've helped guys get better. Hopefully that I've coached guys in a way that they continue to get better. I've never been, and you know this, I've never been a guy who has been fortunate enough to recruit 5 or 6 McDonald's All-Americans. I haven't been able to do that. I mean, I've had a few, but I'm proud of the fact that our guys get better. Our guys come here and people say, well, I'm not sure he's good enough to play there, and they end up not just playing there, but being all league guys and guys that are, I think, end up in a lot of instances being nationally known. I mean, look at what we had at Cincinnati. I mean, the year Kenyon broke his leg, we were unquestionably the best team in America, without a question. We had the best player in America in Kenyon Martin. Jermaine Tate, 6'9", one of the best power forwards in the country. I had Kenny Satterfield and Steve Logan at point guard. I played DeMar Johnson at 2. I had a 6'10" guy as a 2 guard. And Kenyon broke his leg, and it just not just losing the best player in the country, but it just sapped all the life out of everybody.
For me, and Eddie, I don't know if you have a thought on it. It is always mean and tough. Like if you played a Bob Huggins team, they're basically going to out rebound you, and they're going to mash you on defense. Not always great scores. That is kind of what I thought of your teams, your trademark, your calling card. Very tough, very physical, very hard to score on.
We're not going to run from anybody.
yeah, no.
And it's just like the Javon Carter types who just like they're going to grind it out. They're going to grind people out, and that's what I think. So I agree.
Well, I think if anybody realized the amount of work that JC put into being what he's become, I mean, absolutely incredible. And to the point where some guys that played with him have said to me, I should have been like JC. I should have went to the gym when he went to the gym instead of doing what I did. And I could have maybe had a career that he's having. And I think how do you have a higher or better compliment than that?
So now, with this new age we live in, are you just because I'm already seeing it, like you watch TV, something player X, player Y, player Z has entered the transfer portal. It's a totally new era. So is that just you're right into it now, trying to recruit guys, I don't know, steal's the right word, but get guys to come to you?
I'm not a big fan of the portal. I would like to be able to recruit guys like I've recruited for years that want to prove something, that want to prove how good they are, what kind of player they can be, and be on a team that advances and surprises everybody. I'm not big on the portal. I think it's borderline ridiculous, to be honest with you. And everybody wants to talk about all this kid and that kid who came out of the portal. What about the guys who didn't get picked? I mean, you're going to have 200, 300, 400 kids probably at the end of the day that don't have anywhere to go. They've already left where they were. They've already cashed that in, and now all of a sudden they're looking around like, now what do I do?
Right. Yeah.
How is that good for anybody?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure, seeing all the movement. I just really rooting for jerseys. So where are you going to be for the Final Four?
I'm going to go to the games.
Oh, so you'll be in New Orleans?
I'm with the Rules Committee. So I've got Rules Committee meetings. I'm on a board with the NABC, so I'll be with the NABC trying to sit down with other guys and figure out what we can do to make our game better.
All right. Well, the good news, we're going to be there as well. So maybe we can grab a drink and hang out in New Orleans.
I'd love to get together with you guys.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk to you. You know I'm a huge fan of yours, so hopefully we do get to see you this weekend.
That sounds great. Looking forward to it.
All right. Take care, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
You as well.
Bob
I do
Huggins.
love Coach. Yep. Old school basketball. Old school basketball.
Yeah, he really is. So
He
great to have him
can't
on.
like Rex. He's playing coy. He can't like Rex. I know Rex is trash me. That's why I don't like. I know I couldn't find it. I know he said shit about me.
And I got to know too. Like he's coaching college kids. But if you sat there and you grabbed a drink with him this weekend, unfiltered thoughts. He's an all-time.
Totally
I'd love
different.
to get his unfiltered thoughts.
Totally. Yeah. He'll let it fly. He knows this is public, and you got to maintain some degree. And what I said is true. Everybody makes mistakes. He's right. Bob Huggins is Bob Huggins. Like you don't feel like you're getting an act or anything. And with Coach K, I do. And there's no dispute his record. His players love him, stand by him, but he seems like he's a little holier than thou to me.
Mm-hmm. I for the record, I like Coach K, so I would like to be excluded from that whole thing.
Yeah, me and Dan don't, clearly.
Yeah.
But I don't like when he yells out of their players. He's yelled at the students. He's a tyrant.
But you'll miss him though, Dave. Like he's everything.
Oh, 100. Listen, he has made Duke the Notre Dame of football. Guys like that are great for sports.
Yeah.
You love to root against them or you love to root for him. 100%, Eddie. 100%. That's what makes sports great.
And he's just all you know. Like, you know, like, come on. Don't you think this game would have a little bit more luster, too, if Roy Williams was still there? I do. Like, just a little bit more luster.
Maybe. But, I mean, you go back, it's really Dean Smith, to be honest.
Yeah,
But,
yes.
Roy Williams, Dean Smith. Coaches, I mean, you look back at the golden age of the Big East, that was about the coaches more than the players. You had Raleigh Massimino, you had John Thompson, you had Boeheim. I mean, that conference, and I know I'm forgetting, like
Calhoun.
probably. So we just named three. I don't know.
Calhoun.
Calhoun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this conference was the coaches were becoming famous, and I'm sure where Seton Hall had PJ Carlissimo. I mean, the names, the characters, and they're all there. Honestly, I miss a lot of things in sports. The Big East, the 80s Big East, there was nothing like it. I mean, 6 fouls. They had 6 fouls. They hated each other. The coaches eventually became friends, but you hear Boeheim and John Thompson, they hate each other. There's nothing better than that in sports. Nothing. Every night was a fucking war.
Yeah, and I know obviously, you know, new blood is going to replace all these guys, but still, it's going to be, you know, when Coach K, Boeheim, like Patino, all these guys, the clock is ticking, you know?
I will say I love what North Carolina and Duke do. Michigan now has it with Jawan to a degree, but the legacy of like if you're not in-house, you don't get the job. Like if you didn't go there, you don't get the job. I love that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I for sure. And like, you know, like Jay Wright's he's already worked his way into that. So, you know,
Jay Wright, Jay Wright, Villanova has been the best basketball program in the country the last 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, they have. And Villanova has history. You know, they won the national championship with Massimino, and they beat that was the Georgetown. Oh, we forgot the St. John's coach. Carlissimo? No, that's PJ
Carlissimo?
Carnesecca, Louis Carnesecca.
Okay.
He wore the sweaters. Chris Mullen. I mean, the Big East one year, 3 of the 4. It's. I love college basketball, I really do. But the realignment and all this stuff, like Syracuse leaving, that sucked. The Big East, old Madison Square Garden. But yeah, Bob Huggins, old school. Like those Cincinnati teams. I mean, they were brutal. They'd kill you. I feel like he kept losing Kentucky. Nick Van Exel went there too, I think.
Kenyon Martin, I mean, breaks his leg. He's still, you know, it's tough. Yep. It's tough.
And I love Huggins, but coaching's part of the recruiting's part of the game. I mean, he gets the most out of his guys for whatever reason. He doesn't get the 5-star or the 6-star or whatever. And there's no such thing, but that's part of the game. That's what like Calipari's the best at.
It's surprising too. He's got so many fucking wins. He's got so many wins.
Yeah, it's a different style player he gets.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Bob for coming on. Let's talk about.
Come on, I gave $500,000 to his charity.
Let's talk
spot,
about the.
With no intention, and that's
spot.
what I was going to donate. I'm like, I'll give like $20,000 to be a hero.
Is the naming rights still being talked about as well?
And no one's mentioned it to me. I'm not going out of my way to throw more money.
Well, that's not going to be yours. It'll be, you know.
Yeah,
you could run it on Westie's credit card.
True.
I know you'd like that. All right, let's talk about the SXM app, Dave.
Subscribe now. Get your first 3 months for free of the XXM app. Visit SiriusXM.com/Dave Portnoy offer to sign up. Offer details apply. Listen to the SiriusXM app at home or anywhere you are. No car required. Stream it on your phone, online, at home. 425 channels are on the XM SXM app. Very difficult to say it. Enjoy ad-free music channels for every genre, artist, dedicated channels like Margaritaville Radio, which I listen to all the time. From Buffett, Dave Matthews Band Radio, still one of the best concerts I've ever gone to. Thank you, Dave Matthews. You can also catch live play-by-play games from every major sports league. SiriusXM app exclusives include ad-free extra music channels, podcasts including SiriusXM originals, and on-demand video of in-studio performance and interviews. Subscribe now. Get your first 3 months for free of the SXM app. Visit SiriusXM.com/Dave Portnoy offer to sign up. Offer details apply. I asked Jimmy to come on the pod.
What did he say?
He said no.
Why did he say no?
He wrote a very long Jimmy Buffett-esque response, but he's like, I did one pod once. You got to be too careful what you say now. I'm in my 70s. I just want to enjoy life. I don't want to basically say anything that's going to cause controversy and just give me a headache.
That's fair. I mean, we'd give him final cut. We don't,
I love Jimmy. He's like my guy. I was surprised he said no after I had lunch with him because they were the ones who approached me about doing pod stuff. But the guy who approached me no longer works for him. So I think maybe he was getting pushed to do some of that stuff. He's like, no, thanks. I thought I was supposed to go to St. Bart's to what?
I know he's got a doc coming out in May. Did you see that?
I was supposed to go to St. Bart's with them and spend a weekend and do a documentary of a weekend, and COVID hit. So I asked.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe.
And I
once
keep
that doc
asking
comes
Charles
out.
Barkley and get nowhere on it.
What's he saying? Does he respond?
No, not all the time.
All right, well, maybe Jimmy will change his mind when the documentary comes out, but probably not. All right, inside Barstool here. Actually, I want to talk about that. So, who hit you up about their bar mitzvah?
I have no idea. It came from our marketing people. At first, I thought it was a jump out of a cake. And I'm like, are you crazy? But yeah, I'm not on the bar mitzvah circuit.
So, someone did not want you to jump out of a cake, just to clarify.
It didn't look that way. You saw I posted whatever the exact. It said come out with sparklers and pizza. I think. I don't think it's a cake.
And how much were they willing to pay?
There was no number. I wrote back to Jacqueline, our PR. I'm like, this is the most insulting thing I've ever been asked. $5 million. I would have done it for $5 million.
Have you done anything like that?
People know how I feel about that. People know how I feel about being able to be purchased for appearances, cameos. I'm not a fan. I think it means you're on the downside. Yet, if someone's going to spend that much, I'd do it.
But
you never know. Maybe you find a quadrillionaire. He's fine.
Yeah, but there's big time people who have, done a little something for money, right? That's not just
They probably get paid a shit ton.
Yeah, for sure. But you're I know you're equating it to a '90s child star showing up to an AutoZone for $150. There's people.
Yeah, I'm
who
sure they get paid through the teeth. Listen. I'm not gonna say what it was, but people think I'm a whore for money. I'm really not. I turned down a paid appearance for 50 minutes. It would have gone into my pocket. 50 minutes for $200,000. Turned it down this past Sunday. I've turned down $100,000 to show up at a birthday party. I just don't do that stuff really.
Has anyone offered you a large amount of money for a pizza review?
Well, we did the charity one that I think was paid $70,000 for. I'm much more willing to do stuff, believe it or not, depending on what it is. If it's a bar mitzvah or a pizza for free than I am for to charge. I don't like to charge for my personal time necessarily. And one thing I dealt with a lot with the Barstool Fund was things I had said no to. People were well, we'll donate to the Barstool Fund. That was an end around. I wasn't going to do it that way either. It's if you want to donate to the Barstool Fund to be a good person and help, yes. I'm not running around doing ads and shit like that. It's an end around, basically.
That happened a lot, I feel.
I know.
That happened a lot. It was hey, show up to this event. All the proceeds will go to the Barstool Fund. It's well.
Yeah. Just do it to be because it's a great cause and we're saving businesses.
Yeah. I feel like that happened a lot. So that, I mean, I don't know. I would be interested to see what would be the right price, right event. Because 50 minutes, so how far away was it from you this past weekend?
It wasn't that far. But I don't.
Can you say what it was?
No, I don't want to say what it was. Because they were nice and they offered. I just don't. There's some things like I'm not I get a lot of like inspirational speaker type stuff. And I don't like doing that. Like, I'm not like a rah, do this. Like, I don't have a key to success. Like, I don't know anything. I don't want people to have to pay to hear what I have to say necessarily.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, I mean, that's probably, what about like at like your schools and stuff? Like if Swampscott asked you to speak, would you be interested in that? Yeah.
I do it for free. I would never get accepted at anything like that. Like I've had plenty of people reach out, and it will generally get shut down. Somebody reached out. Who was it? And then they want what? Oh, it was Nantucket High School to be the speaker there. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Do your research on me. Like last time I was on the cover of the magazine, it was fucking World War III. They're like, we know. And then I think it was the superintendent or somebody started, it was like homework assignments for me to fill out, like to jump through hoops. And I wrote back, it's like, listen, I'm happy to do this for free, but I'm not proving to you like why I have to do it. Like I'm doing your students who probably all would love to have it a favor. Like I'm not, you're asking me to like prove to you why I should be this speaker. It's like, I'm not fucking doing that. You want me? Great. I'll come. You don't? Great. I won't.
Are you in good standing, like with your high school? Like, would they invite you back, or what's?
Yeah, but with anything like that, I always say go in with your eyes open because there's people who will complain. The silent or the vocal minority will make a fuss. But yeah, I mean, I would say very good standing.
Okay, and then Michigan, kind of. Would you say?
No, I think I am. Again, Michigan just wants money from me. Like Michigan is, their schools identify potential donors, right? So they identified me a couple years ago, and they invited me up. I sat next to Ward Manuel, the AD, at the Big Ten tournament in New York. I met Red Berenson, awesome dude, the old hockey coach, legend. So they had identified me. Whoa, we got a guy who graduated who's starting to make waves and maybe make some money and could turn around and be a donor. That's what schools do.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I don't think we ever get into that. So, what do you think about the Business Insider mole story that came out last week?
I said there was a mole. Duh, we had a mole.
Inside BI? Really? I thought it was, because here was my interpretation of that. So they said, oh, Dave is publishing on parts of the article that never went public. I thought that was the part where they give you 48 hours or 24 hours to make revisions, and you were screened out of that.
Nope. We had a mole.
It's nice to have a mole, huh?
And let me tell you how fucked up this Eddie is. And I debated how to do it. I didn't have the mole the first time. Second time I had the mole. Eddie, the blatant lies they had in the article that they were ready to publish, like, bang. Like, they were ready to publish it. If I didn't have the mole, I would not have been able to react in time. Like, I knew what was coming, so I was able to do the research and get the facts and get my ducks in a row. Like the first time the BI piece came out, if you remember, I made a video. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I can promise you it's not true. I don't even know who the girls are yet. Like I'm caught off guard and I needed time to unwind it. And it took a little bit and everyone reads it and I'm not saying anything quite yet. It's like the damage is theoretically done. This time, the second one didn't have the same punch because instantly, like an hour later, I'm like, oh, here are the facts. The only reason I was able to do that was because I had a mole. If I'm not lucky enough to have that mole, we go through the same thing. It takes me a week to figure out who they're talking about, and the damage is done. They publish it. They wiped out so much of the bullshit they had in there because they knew I gave us like, whoa, before you do it, here you go. That's just because I had the advantage. But it shows you how deceitful, devious, and scumbags they are. They do all this, and they want to give you 24 hours to figure it all out. Luckily, I had the mole. It's crazy. If I don't have the mole, they publish all that shit, and people are saying, the reason I published some of the original is to be like, look, they took this out just because it was so wrong. And I was lucky enough to have it. But the original, and they changed it, and they went around, and things came out. They're scumbags. Like they were knowingly going to publish so much trash. And if I didn't have the mole, it would have been published. And they still publish trash.
I thought you were just working around the clock in that 24 hours, and you were getting it done then with,
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter working around the clock. You can work around the clock, and it still takes a lot of time to figure out what the hell is going on.
Damn.
Who they're talking
so how
about.
How did this happen? How did this person approach you? What happened?
I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to give any clues of anything, but Barstool always has moles. There's no place in the world there aren't stoolies embedded. They were embedded, remember, with SoulCycle? Like every internal email was getting leaked to us, and they didn't know how to stop it. We have moles everywhere. We have normal people everywhere. BI is a big enough company. They got moles.
Wow. I honestly, I thought you were just going to laugh at this story. I didn't know you genuinely had a mole.
I thought I said I did.
No, maybe I missed that then.
Do you think we have a mole? Do you think we have moles at Barstool?
For sure.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's been talked about.
But I don't think it's a mole that has access to like real stuff.
I mean, the Penn news broke like an hour after that meeting. Do you remember that? 3 hours after that meeting?
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody had info on it from like BJ, some Philadelphia website. Yeah, we definitely have moles. We're a big
That's
company.
just the case of getting big. I mean, we have 300 employees now. It's like they've come from other companies. They have relationships.
Totally.
So you just that's just the way business is.
I mean, my bigger thing again with the BI is, and I hopefully I said that coherently. If I didn't have the mole, they were going to publish far more severe accusations about me that were totally false. And of course they were false because they took them out. Because I had the stuff to be like, lie. And they still publish lies.
Based on what you're saying, though, it was more so this guy was a fan of Barstool. It wasn't a vendetta against the company he worked for. Or was it both?
I'm not going to say, I don't want to give them anything because I'm sure this person would get terminated if they figured it out. Or people.
Yeah. I know. I figured, but I got to ask. And then you probably won't answer either if the person's still there or not. But
yeah, obviously, I'm not going to answer that.
Could just leave it at that. That's crazy. So did you know this, guys? No. Yeah. I guess not. All right. Barstool signs Meatball Molly and made it official.
Yep. Very happy. I think they're a great package together. She's psyched. She earned it. So hopefully they continue to win. As long as they continue to win, it'll be a good deal.
Mr. Ice also signed a 1-year deal.
Yep.
How was that? Was it you get to the negotiation table with your best friend? How was that?
He earned it. Like, it's always weird. His friend, I had to fight for it a little bit. Pens sometimes are morons. Because Elio could have gotten a deal somewhere else. Like, he's a hardcore gambler. He creates great content. People are playing his picks. He deserved to get paid.
And just some background too. I had not known. Obviously, I've got to know him pretty well just from hanging out with him and you, obviously. But he like puts work into those picks. If people don't realize that, he's cranking those games. He really is. So this is not like a drawn out of a hat.
No, Elios don't grow on trees. My crew is a gambling crew. Always a little weird when it's like your buddy, but he's watching every game. He's doing it. People are betting his picks, so he earned it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for Elio. So what does that mean? Does that mean anything else for him, or he just kind of does the same thing?
Same. I mean, he wants to do more content, obviously. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. So congrats to Elio. Did you see Stu? He brought flowers for every girl in the office.
I did not see that.
That was a nice touch by Stu.
Like as an apology?
I don't know if it was an apology or just to be a nice guy, but I know he literally, there was dollies of flowers that were being wheeled in.
Always the gentleman.
Big time gentleman. Did you see the White Sox Dave cheating scandal from last week?
Yes.
What do you think? What's your final ruling? Can you pull up the video, Kareem? Do you need to see it again, or do you remember?
Yeah,
it?
let me watch it again.
Okay, I'm interested in your thoughts here because it was highly, highly debated. And while you pull it out, shout out to the dozen. I sold out Chicago event very fast. Sad you're not going to be there, Dave, but
yeah, I debated it. I delivered too many papers to jump on a commercial flight from Miami to Chicago to play trivia for an hour and then just turn around and come home. And I wasn't going to fly private.
Commercial?
It was too expensive.
Oh, so you did look into it, at least.
Yeah, I was very torn, but in the end, it's like you're going to have a great event. You don't need me there. It's sold out in a second anyways.
Mm-hmm. Kareem, we got that footage?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Hold on.
All right. Well, while he pulls it up, I should say, too, I talked to your father last week. He would like some clarifications on some of the things you said about the 80-year-old market and whatnot. So he was misquoted.
Market?
Remember the last week?
No, he wasn't misquoted.
Yeah, well, I believe him. He was probably misquoted. So
By my
just
mother?
so the people know. Well, just in general, how you said who he's going after and whatnot, and who he doesn't like. So just want to let people know.
Why didn't it come on then?
Well, I mean, he said he had some appointments and whatnot, so he wasn't able to make it. So we'll get him on soon, though, so he can further his statement. But we will get him on soon because it's been too long.
You want this guy's breakdown?
Well, no, I think just the footage of, I mean, the footage is in there, but
Hold on. Yeah, we can just watch here.
yeah. So you go to not the Bobcats question. It's the last question.
That's the Gerald Wallace one, right?
Not that one. It's the 12th round one with Ron Dane and.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, so it's that one.
Yes, right. Yeah.
There you go. Amon Green. All right, here you go.
Amon Green and Darius Walker were the rushing attack for what AFC team in 2007 for the crown.
Dude, I'm pulled to the Titans. Remember, we got double dip here.
Darius Walker was a Notre Dame guy. I feel like he played for the.
What about the Raiders?
Now, Jeff might be able to correct me here if someone else was typing that was not on screen, but you can literally hear typing as Dave is looking down. Here, let me reverse this, even just like a few seconds. As he's looking down, listen, you can literally hear like typing. Like, all right, listen.
Up here.
Darius Walker was a Notre Dame guy. I feel like he played for the.
What about the Raiders?
You hear that kind of muffled typing?
I don't remember Ron Dane or Amon Green on those.
But I feel like Al Davis would take Amon Green.
So much body movement. What is? I mean,
we definitely double dip this. But
come on, David.
I don't know. Why am I thinking Darius Walker? But I could be. I have no clue. I have no clue at all.
Jeff, we're gonna double sip.
First guess is
the Raiders.
10 seconds.
And notice he hasn't contributed at all to this conversation up until this point.
And then a 5-second countdown.
Ron Dane. Amon Green, Packers.
Didn't Ron Dane end his career in Houston?
5.
With Carr?
Yeah.
All right, yes. Houston Texans.
Crown remains in Chicago. That is correct.
Your thoughts?
It's as close as I've watched it. I'm gonna say no.
Wow.
Because
what makes you say that?
I don't know. What has White Sox Dave said?
He says no. He swears he does. He didn't.
You gotta be such an incredible scumbag, and obviously White Sox Dave is, but I don't think he is in that manner. Like, it's that important to cheat? I don't. Cheating in the dozen is just so stupid. I don't. It's like so disrespectful to Jeff. I just don't think he'd do that.
All right, so your ruling is no.
I would guess no. I would guess, but it's like I'd need incontrovertible proof. Like I see it. I didn't really hear the typing he was necessarily saying. And if Dave was cheating, the way he answered it was pretty crafty. I don't think he's that crafty. And I really just don't. I'd like to think nobody would cheat at that game. What's the fucking point?
People have been found to be cheating, obviously. Like, I think Trista got banned for it.
But Trista was doing it more as like an act, wasn't she?
I think so. Like
she was like very over the top with it.
Mm-hmm. And I think Cons might have got founded to be cheating, but I'm not 1,000% sure. All right, so Dave says no.
Do you think he cheated?
It's so the only two things I struggle with. He says no, and like you said, I'm inclined to believe him. The shoulder shimmy kind of got me, and the other thing is if you watch because obviously I watch their games, I watch their matches. Dave's usually like the first one to speak up or say something. The fact that he was silent is throwing me off, because he usually will throw out like a couple teams, even if it's just a wild guess,
Yeah, well, I'm going just based and I say this in all seriousness, if he cheated. And I want to internally know this. I would think of him very differently. I would never respect him ever the rest of his life.
Really? Genuinely?
Yeah. I think it's an absolute scumbag move. Jeff puts a ton of work into it. To cheat is just a total. Trista a little different. I feel like she's doing views. To cheat, to get away with it, to win. I just zero respect.
Yeah. No, I mean, if he says he did.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't. Mm-hmm. And if he did, he should come forward and admit it, and then maybe you can win the respect back.
Jeff still gave him sanctions, though. I think he has to wear a
Cusack
jersey to the live show. I think they changed it to a Cusack because he'll never wear Cubs, which I respect. He'll die before he does that. He has to wear like a Cusack custom jersey, and he has to eat a hot dog before every question or something. So
gun to head, I don't think he cheated, but I hope I'm right. It is a really that's not a funny move to me. Again, that's just totally disrespectful, and there's no place for it. It's so disrespectful to Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Mantis lost his virginity.
Good for him.
Good for him is right. Did you see the Bradley Barton podcast? Bob Menery, he talked about your beef a little bit. It came out late last night, so.
No.
Mm-hmm. So
what did he say? Somebody said it was 5'7" or something. But I think how tall is he?
He said he's in the same height range. It wasn't like a dig.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty. This is like the most calm I've seen him.
I think I'm taller than he is, actually.
Do you have any beef with anyone?
Dave Portnoy is the only one who I really have beef with. And
really?
Portnoy, and I have, I respect with Dave. I hate having.
Where did this start?
With the Portnoy beef?
Yeah.
I've never really spoken after it happened. I've never spoken on the Portnoy stuff, but because I kind of just put it in the back and just continued to.
What happened?
Dave, it started off.
Was he jealous of your voice or what?
No, I think Dave. I mean, to be honest, Dave's done an incredible job. He's built an empire.
He has.
He's built an empire. Dave's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I remember going to Dave Portnoy's apartment back in the day and being like, I want to go to Bridgewater State to do this. I was like, I don't know. He was in his small apartment and with T-shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I showed him all these YouTube videos that I'd done. He's like, you're funny. You're a funny kid. So I walked in and I was like, I want to go to these different colleges and shoot content. He's like, go, yeah. And he gave me a bunch of shirts and shit to give away. And what's funny? I hate the fact that me and Dave have a better relationship.
Yeah.
I really, really do. But I think that Dave never really lets us go because he's still talking shit about me.
What happened though?
What happened was then we went to Bridgewater State. This was like I was 20.
Oh shit.
Or something. Like really, really young. I don't remember the exact day. Don't quote me on that. But I'm saying, went out there, had all these T-shirts, was giving them out. I brought this camera crew. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was like trying to shoot content. And then we went there, and like they a bunch of people like accused us of doing like Girls Gone Wild shit, trying to get people making out, and he got a little backlash from it. He got a bunch of emails and whatever, and he basically like, I think we communicated, and we're like, he's like, yo, I got to write this article. I think, I don't know if he said, I don't want to like misquote anything with Dave because he'll fucking run it and blast it. But he was just basically like, yo, I gotta address this. And then he kind of addressed it in a way that sucked. That was like Bob was doing all this stuff with women and shit like that, and like trying to get girls to make out and stuff, which is not the case. You know, I did bring 4 knuckleheads with me that were part of my crew that were just like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but you know, nobody was doing anything dumb. And so he just wrote an article about me. It became this big thing. And then I just kind of fucked with it, and it was like challenging to fucking fights, and went in and said, hey, I'd love to, you know, maybe work for you. And he offered me a job for X amount of dollars, and I just countered with a different number, and then he didn't do it, and then just kind of said fuck off, and then talked about, you know, my sister and my family and all that stuff, and which was fine. But at the end of the day,
what did he? I don't want to.
No, because I was like, when I went in there, like, bro, I was still at the point where I was wearing at Bob Menery on my sweatshirt.
Damn.
So I was looking for opportunity. I used to wear that sweatshirt every day at Bob Menery.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest fucking loser in the world.
Ah,
like
fuck it.
wearing my own name on the shirt. But I remember weighing in, seeing the office. Me and Dave started talking about, you know, working for him and stuff, and took a picture. And I was like, my sister would love this. She's a big like fan of all this shit. And then, you know, when shit kind of went south, I forget exactly how it said at that moment, but yeah. Then he like blasted my, because I don't believe that you should ever use screenshots of text conversations ever.
Wait, he put screenshots out of your shit?
Yeah, he put screenshots out of my private conversations.
I thought that's illegal.
Whatever it is, I'm not going. I'm not going. You know, but like I just don't think morally. I just don't. That's not my style.
Right.
You know what I mean? We'll handle things the way we handle things. You know, like behind. But I also then, to contradict myself, I did was like, you know, I'll fucking fight you for $1 million. And
would you? What?
Oh yeah, he's probably good, but he can just chill. We don't have to do anything with him. But
you sure?
It's up to you. But yeah, we're good. I mean, we want to backpedal to it, but he can tell his version. But we already hit that. It's up to you.
Okay.
So, but no, long story short, I'll be honest with you. I really have no problem with Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
But you would fight him for $1 million.
I mean, if there's one guy I would fight, I think I would fight Portnoy.
Damn, that'd be sick.
No, but like he wouldn't do it because he said he wouldn't do it because of his shoulders. But like I would do it just for fun.
How tall is Portnoy?
He's got a couple inches on me. I'm a little guy. I'm 5'7". But I like, dude, I'm telling you, man, like there's just so much room for everybody to eat.
Of course.
And I think that so many people get so competitive. You see like Impulsive like throwing shots at us right now about like, oh, the number one podcast. It's like, dude, bro, I don't even look at that. Like,
I mean, this is the number one podcast. Just everyone just doesn't know it yet,
bro, I hope it is. I hope it is.
Exactly.
Let's just outwork each other and see who gets there. Like, it doesn't matter. There's so much room to eat for everybody to eat, you know? And so, but I really want to say this, that I don't really have a problem with Portnoy.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, and he's way bigger than I am. And he's built a way bigger empire than I have, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And I think that we could have done some great shit together. Luckily enough, I was able to partner up with Kyle and John and all those guys who are fucking geniuses, and wouldn't change it for the world. But I have no problem with Dave. I'd love Dave to come to the Full Send podcast and settle all our shit.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
You know,
that'd be good.
But Dave would never do it.
Thoughts?
Yeah, he was calm there. He's forgetting though what set me off. Like the Bridgewater State thing I've told, that's accurate. The way he tells that's accurate. I don't know what happened with his 4 knuckleheads, but I talked about it in real time, getting emails of people thinking it was me, being like, you're a scumbag, you're trying to get my girlfriend, like make all this shit. So maybe it was his knuckleheads, whatever. That part, pretty accurate how he told it. This is long before anyone really knew who I was or he was. This was like newspaper days, almost Barstool. I've known him for a long time. No ill will. Like I told him, like I got to write this article. Wasn't me. I'm going to be very clear. We don't do that. So whatever. There was no ill will after that. And then he started blowing up with the voice thing, and he came to work for us. And he's right again. Because he was kind of blown up, and we gave a price, he gave a price. We couldn't do it; it's too much, and went our separate ways. Still no ill will. And I've told this before. Where the ill will happened is he went And this is, again, totally, he was a fan, as he said, respected it. His sister, the picture, all that, fine. Never said a word about any of it. He went to a Chicago Bulls game, and he had continued to blow up. And he was trashing me, like really trashing me. Unbeknownst to him, a friend of mine who has never called me once with anything like this, who I trust to the death, was sitting like a couple seats away from him, to the point he called me. He's like, do you have beef with Bob Menery? I'm like, no, not at all. He tried to work here. Why? What's up? He's like, he's destroying you. He's absolutely ripping you apart at this game. I was like, what? And that is what I went on the radio and freaked out about, because it's like, there was no beef. As far as I knew, as a fan, he didn't. So whether he just forgot that part, but that is, there was no beef till that point. It was like, and I'm showing screenshots and all that, which I did, I assume, to show like, dude, you were kind of like sucking my dick and wanted to work here and was a fan and respectful. And then I hear you're just destroying me when I'm not there for no reason, and I don't even understand why. And again, the guy who relayed this, his word is gold. So I know he was telling the truth. And Bob didn't really deny it. He's kind of like, oh, I was like joking about it a little bit, but it was obvious he was talking shit about me. The beef has, and what he just said, totally fair. Like that part of it, like that was a little different than what it was before, but that's where it came from. I never had any issue with him, ever, until that. But anybody in the world who's nice to me, my face, and I'm told by somebody I trust to the death that they're trashing me behind closed doors, or when they think I'm not there, I'm going to have a problem with.
So do you still have a problem with him?
It's kind of gone away. You know, like we tried to get Nelk to work with us with the Sportsbook app and all that. And Kyle, the main Nelk guy, and they're a monster, obviously, is very friendly with Menery, and he's on that pod. So I remember we were at a dinner, and he actually put him on speakerphone. It's like, listen, we haven't got along. I don't care. This is business. I want to work with you guys. I'll be fine with it. I haven't thought too much about it. The beef has, I guess, subsided. I had no problem with what he just said there. But I am competitive, but that had nothing to do with me being upset at Menery. What I was upset about Menery is what I just said, of him being like nice to my face and trashing me for no reason, apparently behind my back. I don't know if he was insulted that he thought he deserved more money from it. It wasn't personal. It's like our pay structure.
But that was your reasoning for sharing the private conversations, was because you wanted to show that, hey,
100%. Like
he's trashing me here, but
yeah, correct. Yes. Like what the fuck? Like you've been nothing. You're nice to my face or in DMs and all this shit. And yeah, that was with the sister. And then one of his brother went off there, like threatened to kill me or something like that. Like they kind of went haywire during that dispute, and then it went away.
So would you fight him?
No, I wouldn't fight anybody. And he'd be the last guy. Not the last guy, but no. There's plenty of people I'm sure who would want to fight me. I can't fight. I wish I could, because I'd make a shit ton. But my shoulder would just, unless I just took a flop like in Seiko. I mean, I literally can barely shut my fucking car door at this point. But that's what it is. I don't get in fights with people over nothing. I really don't. So
if you saw him, would you squash it, or how would you go? Because you guys run in kind of similar circles, I would say.
Yeah, I rarely bump into him, to be honest. I can't remember. I haven't. If he was like, yeah, that was bullshit, I did that, I apologize, like that was a scumbag move, I'd be like, all right, whatever. But I mean, it's not like I trash him now and I don't really talk about it. But you know, if people say his name to me in public, it's like, yeah, I probably don't have the fondest memories of him because of that. Who would?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think
he just left that part out. He was kind of like, I don't remember what escalated. That's what escalated. That is what escalated it.
Mm-hmm. So key part of the story. And I do think there's an element here where it's like your Bill Simmons rivalry, where, you know, you have so many more real ones right now, like, you know, Business Insider and whatnot, that's like real life, that like those enemies are kind of like, all right, like that's not that serious. These are serious.
Correct.
So,
and I don't think I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was drunk when he was doing it, because I've known him or about him. And he's right. When I saw him in the videos he was creating, like, I don't know, this had to be 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, he's a talented, funny guy. Let's see what he can do. And then he just went a little off the rails at Bridgewater State. Whatever, but I wasn't, like, pissed. I mean, I was mad, but I never thought. And when he came in, we offered him a job. So there was no, like, hard feelings or anything like that. He forgot the key part of the story. It's when I found out he was fucking trashing me when I'm not there. And I'm like, I literally was stunned when he says, like, you beef with Bob Minner? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? You want to work here. He's like, well, he hates you. It's like, huh?
And what happened with that deal with you guys working with those guys? It just
couldn't get it through. It's like, you know, we were trying to get him licensed and approved, and we just couldn't. But Nelk is no doubt a monster. They're huge.
Yeah, they are.
But I like Kyle. Steve will do it. Steve will do it. I don't know that I would have seen his talent and how big he came. He tried to work here. I didn't even know he wanted to till after the fact.
What happened with that?
I didn't even know he applied till he got big, and then we talked after. He's like, "Yeah, I think I wanted to work there at one point, but you didn't get back to me," or something like that. I'm pretty sure that happened.
Damn.
Because he was a free agent. He wasn't always Nelk. He wasn't like an original Nelk guy.
Yeah, they found him, I think.
Yeah.
And that's how he kind of went up the. Damn, imagine that. Steve will do it at Barstool.
But I don't know he would have worked at Barstool. He's been a perfect fit at Nelk.
Yeah,
and I know the guy John, who's like, I like those guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right.
And I respect, honestly, I respect anybody. Like, Nelk is no overnight success story. They fucking grinded and grinded and grinded. Kyle's very smart.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. We'll see what happens if you ever run into him, or if you respond to this and whatnot.
I mean, that's a key part of the story left out.
Yeah, and I remember that, obviously, and that's just, to kind of formulate everything. So I don't know if he'll respond to this or not.
That story, he told to the T pretty much correctly without the one key thing. So nobody likes if you hear someone's trashing you behind your back for no reason.
Yeah, I would agree. Last thing here, new show alert. KB, Nick, Kate are doing a Yo, Can I Get This on Barstool show. So look out for that.
I like that name.
I like that. Okay. Anything else, Dave?
No.
All right. Thanks again to Bob Huggins for coming on, and 1-1 trial Ethan. We'll see what happens. That's it for this week, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.